Hey everyone, it's Max, and this is actually a Skyrim video, where I'm going to be talking about a mod called Dwemer Certified, or Dwemer, however you say it, which basically lets you get the Dwemer Constructs, which are basically giant robots, and you can create them, and they'll, act like any other follower in the game, and they'll follow you around and help you in combat. To do that, you need these perks. The enchanting perks are to help you create spell tomes, to repair them, and do lots of other interesting things, which I'll show later in the video. And these smithing perks are to allow you to actually create them, and also to create the parts which you need to create them, because you need to create these special parts. And so to do that, you go down to Dwarven in the crafting, the forge. And you go down the list until you find whichever one you want to craft. The one I'm showing is the spider. And you have to craft the parts first, like I said. So, the spider claws, I don't know why I craft two, but I do. The Dynamo core, and the spider plating, or whatever, plating. Each one has its own Dynamo core that you have to craft, and its own weapons and stuff. And then you can craft the thing itself, and as you can see, it appears in the background. But the really cool thing about them is that you can actually upgrade them. And so right here, I am scrolling up to where these different parts are, the Dwemer components, reinforced, and the internal storage. So basically, what these components allow you to do is you can install them, and it will basically do what they say. It'll either increase the armor, or it will give them more storage so they can carry more things, which is really useful, because if you're in the middle of a dungeon and you need to, if you have too much stuff, and you get over encumbered and then you can't run and it's just generally bad. Here it gets stuck behind a wall, but luckily, like any other follower, it can teleport if it gets stuck. But to install components, you just talk to it and click Install Components, and then you can install these upgrades. And you don't just install the upgrades, you can also remove components, and you can remove the components that you use to craft them. So, remember I used the plating, the Dwemer spider plating, to craft it, and I can actually remove that, and I can go, enchant it, or upgrade it, or something, and then I can reinstall it, and to upgrade the Dwemer construct. And so, here I'm going to turn it into Legendary. Well, I hit the wrong button there, and then I have to do it again. But I turn it into Legendary, and then put it back into the spider, and the spider is now superior to what it was before. It now has more defense, and so, with, but this mod doesn't just let you craft the spiders, it also lets you craft a lot of other ones. So, here I'm going to show them all. It actually adds 2 new ones. So, there's the spider, which I already talked about, and this is one of the new ones, which basically is a smaller Centurion. This is a sphere, which kind of unfolds into this, guy thing. You'll see it later. But it's not a new one. This is the Centurion. This is the big one, which actually has a really cool feature, which we'll talk about. And this is one of the new ones, which basically is just like a guy in Dwarven armor, but it's the only one that can actually use regular weapons. The other ones have to have special components. And the spells I talked about earlier are this one, Grand Repairs, which I believe repairs all the ones in the area. I could be wrong. But it only works on the Dwemer Constructs. Maintenance restores the health of one of them. It's basically a regular healing spell, but again, it only works on Dwemer Constructs. That'll talk about a bit later, but Mending is, as far as I can see, basically the same as Maintenance. I really don't know the difference. Anyway, and then Order Dwemer Constructs is not actually a spell, but an ability, which basically you can use to order them as a group. So, this looks really cool here, where they're all following me. It's like, I have a robot army. It's right here. But, basically, the same thing, as talking to just one of them. Aggressive stance and passive stance basically mean they'll attack enemies or ignore enemies, and deploy all basically just dismisses them. And then this recall construct is probably the most practical and useful, well, maybe maintenance, but basically what it does is it allows you to teleport all of them straight to you, in case, like, you know, like happened before, in case they get stuck on something or you lose them, you can just teleport them to you, and the animation's cool too. But up on that hill there's actually a giant camp, which I'm going to go attack. But my guy, or at least in this save file, is only level 10, so I wouldn't be strong enough to do that. So I'm going to use this spell that I didn't show before, and I'm going to actually do something very cool, which you'll see in just a minute. Take control of the Dwemer Centurion and use it to go fight stuff. And it's not very practical because it's really slow, but if you just want to do a lot of damage to an enemy really fast, that's what's good for, because, well, it's really powerful. And I'm not very good with fighting with it, but I'm still winning against these giants, so that's just how powerful it is. Each attack you do takes a little bit of your stamina, and actually if you run into like a normal person or enemy, they'll just fly to the side if you just walk into them, which is really awesome. You can just like mow down random people in the streets. But yeah, as you're seeing here, some of the the smaller ones are getting destroyed because giants are really powerful. And when you stay in like that for too long, you'll just return to normal with no clothes on, just like after transforming into a werewolf. And here, this is after the battle. A lot of these guys are destroyed, but you can actually repair them. So if you click Repair Construct, you can repair them. I don't have enough materials to repair this one, but I do have enough materials to repair the spider. So when you repair them, they'll come back to life just exactly like they were before. And you can actually, if you encounter regular ones like the enemies, you can destroy them and repair them, and then they will be able to follow you, and you can have them as followers if you don't necessarily have the materials to craft them. Although, if you find regular ones, I think you can get the materials pretty easily. But yeah, so far, this is one of my favorite Skyrim mods. I would definitely recommend it.